are now living in a wrestling world where AEW Dark and AEW Dynamite and AEW pay-per-views are just something we expect to see. And don't forget, if we go back to the beginning of 2019, we didn't even know this was going to happen. So sometimes when you see all the negativity out there on social media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, try and remember that no matter what the ratings are doing or what anybody else thinks, it's okay just to smile and enjoy professional wrestling. But my name is Simon Miller, and if you don't know, you're about to find out. We do go through wrestling shows, and I take the finger of power of up, and I give the good bits up, and I give the bad bits a down. And that's what we're doing today when it comes to All Elite Wrestling's YouTube show known as Dark. Look at the power I have. Now I'm just stood here in the dark like a moron, even though a little bit of behind the scenes facts for you, I'm not. I just turned the opacity down on Premiere Pro. Let's up those downs. My favourite thing about AEW Dark is that every single week we get a guest commentator to sit next to Excalibur, and this time around we got none other than Dustin Runnels, aka Goldust, aka the guy that keeps on giving even though he's around about 50 years old. He did go to the announce position with half his face painted like he does when he has wrestling matches, which does lead me to believe that that's just how he lives his life. So he goes to the shop, face painted, he goes to the doctor, face painted, and then he goes to the bathroom, face painted. That's a little strange, it's a little weird, but you do you, man. You do you. It was a tag team special this time around as well, and I like that because I think theme shows will actually give you and I, the fans, a reason to keep tuning in. Didn't mean our first match was Private Party versus the Best Friends. And as you know, Orange Cassidy is associated with them, and you just knew, deep down you just knew this was going to be a little bit stupid. This was going to be a little bit nonsensical, but mainly it was just going to be a lot of fun. And it was! The Private Party had the upper hand to start with, and once Trent and Chuck were out the ring, they got up on the ropes and they did their pose. And then for some reason, Orange also got on the apron and did his whole thumbs up skit. I mean, that was absolutely ludicrous because he's not even associated with Private Party, but as I've already made out, it's this kind of bonkersness, which isn't even a word, that I now want from professional wrestling. I know some cranky old men don't like it, but I do. Like I say, wrestling is meant to be fun, wrestling is meant to make you happy. This did that. The Friends then used their experience to get back on top, including Taylor just biting Cassidy's foot. And I mean Private Party's Cassidy. I ain't talking about the man named after a fruit. Now that is disgusting, but I guess it's effective. If somebody bit my foot in a wrestling match, I'd be like, ow, you're hurting my toes. At this point, the crowd was kind of dead too, as does sometimes happen with AEW Dark, depending on where it is filmed in relation to Dynamite. But that was until Mark Quinn got in the ring, because Quinn went so crazy and he went so fast and he was just delivering moves out of nowhere that everybody all of a sudden got up. And I think we got to keep an eye on this dude. Unfortunately though, once again, we do have to talk about that when you watch a AEW tag team match, eventually just know you're going to get the weird sign from nowhere, and as soon as you hear that noise, it means there's no longer any rules and you can run wild. I mean, it happened twice on AEW Dark, and we're going to talk about the other one later. And it's only a 1 hour show, because of that it's got to get it down. It's just the law of diminishing returns, and I know that I spout that out all the time, but it is true. Eventually you're going to have to bring balance back to the force, otherwise you're going to wear people out. And look, I'm not looking out for this stuff, I'm just now subconsciously being aware of it, because it does happen every damn time. Sometimes it's alright to have rules, because then when you don't have rules, the no having of rules is all the more entertaining. The end segment was badass though, so we've got to give props to that, because Trent had rolled out the ring like, oh man, I just need a breather. But Quinn was like, I ain't gonna let you do that. And he climbed up to the top rope and he was going to attack him until Orange Cassidy got in the way. And do you know how Quinn responded to that? He was like, okay, I'll just jump over this piece of fruit and I'll hit you anyway. And that's exactly what he did. It didn't end well for him, however, because before long he was somehow caught up upside down on the ropes, and that allowed the Best Friends to hit Trog Zero, and they got the somewhat surprising pin. However, those dudes haven't got many wins on the AEW roster yet. Now they do. They can use it to go on to something very special. And of course, they celebrated with Orange Cassidy after all was said and done. Kris Statlander and Big Swole then took on Britt Baker and obviously AEW Women's Champion Riho after this. while it was good on a certain level, it kind of felt a bit rushed, but also exposed AEW's women's division, because while we're slowly getting there and understand it's early days, there is a big gaping hole in it. It's getting it down. The real glaring thing to me was who was meant to be who, because over the last few weeks, Britt Baker's been established as a good guy, and Big Swole has been established as a bad guy, but here, Britt Baker was taking most of the match, meaning when she got the hot tag to Riho, the crowd was quite tepid because of course they were. We hadn't built up to that moment. I don't mind going against the grain, but maybe not in this environment where we don't have enough history and we don't really know who these wrestlers are. We haven't had the time to figure it out. And that is the issue, like I say, as we do put the blocks in place to try and establish this women's division. We just need more depth and we need more character work so we know who to like and who to hate and what their motivations are and what they care about and what their favourite thing is to have for breakfast. But before we get there, it can all just be a little bit confusing. It certainly wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, and you can see the end coming when Swole had accidentally punched her partner right in the face. That allowed Britt Baker to lock her. That was me saying locking her lockjaw. The dentist team finisher. Big Swole tapped out. It's another win for Britt Baker and Riho, who really, if you look at what they've done so far in All Elite Wrestling, are doing pretty damn well for themselves. Undesirable to Undeniable was next, and you know the deal with these. We take someone, we tell a very heartwarming story, and you're sat there on your sofa crying your eyes out because you're just a big baby. Not really, you're allowed to cry, that's why we have tears. This week it was Justin Roberts, and look, he told the story. I was let go of WWE. It crushed me so much, I almost lost my love to wrestling. And then I started watching Being the Elite. My passion arose from the floor once again, and now I'm super proud to be the announcer in AEW. I like Justin Roberts, he seems like a very friendly dude, and it was nice to hear his tale. It ain't got a lot of what recently happened on Dynamite, which I guess is good or bad depending how you look at it. If you're a frequent watcher of AEW, you're like, I don't need to know this, I'm well aware, I watch every single week. However, if you do just stumble across this program on YouTube, it's a good way to catch you up on the narrative and maybe even get you to tune in on Wednesday. It was everything with MJF and Cody and Wardlow and all that stuff was going on. Very well put together video package, although we expect that from All Elite now. They're putting in the cash. Finally, we had the Young Bucks taking on the Strong Hearts, and I think that it's matches like this that will continually have people tune in, because obviously Matt and Nick Jackson are proper stars. They're wrestling here like it's a pay-per-view. I'm sure the scrap didn't go longer than 8 minutes, but it felt like everybody gave a damn. And I don't want to be that guy that compares and contrasts, but I did think it, watching this week, if only WWE would start doing this with main event, I would be sure that I never missed it, much like at the moment I'm doing with Dark. Give it up. T-Hawk kicked things off by chopping Nick Jackson for a while until Nick was like, wait, I don't like being chopped. So he got his brother Matt in to do all the double team moves. But unfortunately, after a bit of communication issues between the brothers, it allowed the enemies to get back on top. And after the Strong Hearts had taken over, you know what happened. We'd already wrestled it earlier. Everybody just forgot about the rules again. All 4 guys were in the ring. They were hitting every single maneuver they could think of. And I think at one point the ref was counting and then just went, screw it. Maybe he forgot the numbers and needs to watch more Sesame Street. I don't know. But it was glaringly obvious. And I'm not going to give it another down because it ties into the down I gave it earlier. But I do think this underlines my point. We just need to tone it down a little bit. Rules are good. Rules stop people murdering others. I'm not saying that's the same here. We can use that ideology and that logic. The action was fast and fierce, and maybe the only disappointment was the fact that it was over rather quickly, as I've already said. The Young Bucks did hit the Meltzer driver onto Lindaman, and that was that. I guess this was kind of good for Matt and Nick, because again, a big controversy and a big argument is, why aren't they winning more matches? Well, they put an extra victory on their sheet now, didn't they? So yeah, Dark remains an entertaining watch, and it's only 60 minutes, and it's very accessible because it is on YouTube. That is just a smart strategy in 2019, and clearly I love YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. Spinning Arrow, overall grade, giving it up. It's just, you know, you don't have to watch it, you can ignore it. It doesn't massively tie into what happens on Dynamite, but I enjoy it. Get up on Wednesday, don't have SmackDown to watch anymore. This fills a hole, over before I can say my name. That's all good. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about AEW Dark. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you want to see WWE do something similar? Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com. Do it right now. WhatCulture.com. Read yourself some articles. I like this. You'll learn stuff. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter. WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. Went a bit lightheaded there. Remember to breathe. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and make sure you tune in for all the ups and downs this week, because we got Dynamite, we got SmackDown, and of course on Monday, which I know is next week, we got up those downs with the Survivor Series. Maybe Rey Mysterio will be the world champion, or maybe he won't. Those are the options. It's what Paul Heyman said on Raw, so I can do it too. See ya.